guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go over how I got into monster trucks and what I think about them. So, let's just start off with the funny thing. As a joke, my parents always said that I was born liking monster trucks because when we went to Glendale, when I was still in my mom's belly, we were watching they were watching a monster truck show in Glendale. And so I've been a fan ever since, I guess you could say, but I would go to these Pocatello shows, which is on screen right now, and I went to a bunch of those as a little kid. I think like one every year until I was like 5, 6, I think. But yeah, very great shows to go to. Super fun. They were right there, only 2 hours away from where I live, and I got to see a pretty good show. It was like a mesh between a stadium and arena floor. Wasn't big enough for a stadium floor, but wasn't small enough for an arena floor. But great track. Wish Monster Jam could go to it, but it is a great track for all the independent drivers and trucks to go out and thrash on. But yeah, I definitely like the stadium floor, definitely like this track. Definitely cool and was fun to go watch as a kid. Still would love to go to these shows here. Next, I went to the World Finals in 2010. This was my first ever step into Monster Jam, other than if you count the Glendale one, which I wasn't really there for. But this one is my first ever Monster Jam show, and it was the World Finals, which was pretty cool. So I got to experience craziness for my first Monster Jam show. Super cool to just see, and of course all the wrecks on that racing lane, but really cool to see first like Monster Jam. So it was like a stadium floor, crazy big. It wasn't the little dinky arenas, but was super duper cool. Super duper cool. I do remember watching TV and watching Taz wreck into the trees on Speed. I remember all that stuff. I remember Monster Dalmatian jumping the triple. I remember, I don't know if it was Pastrana 199 or Scarlet Bandit that jumped it and wrecked. I'm pretty sure it was Scarlet Bandit, but still fun. Watched it on TV before I went to Pocatello and all that. And when I was going to Pocatello and all that. So really fun. Then my next show that I went to is in 2012. Went to the Monster Jam World Finals once again in Las Vegas. It was another great show. They were changing, and it was just cool to see, because I was glued to Monster Jam. That's all I ever watched, and that's all I still ever watch, other than probably football. But really cool show. First time experiencing an anniversary. Gravedigger was always my favorite truck. When we would go to Pocatello, I would say, "Where's Gravedigger?" So, it was always my favorite truck as a little kid, and still is. But I remember seeing this, and I remember looking back and watching videos on the 20th and 25th anniversary on TV when they have the little special. But yeah, this is my first experience real time, the Gravedigger anniversary. It was a great show. I think Northern Nightmare won the freestyle competition, and then Tom Mintz and Maximum Destruction won the racing. Great show. Super duper fun. Second Monster Jam show, and it was a world final, so really fun. The only reason I like the Vegas is two things. One, the Monster Jam World Finals and Monster Truck shows there, and the just the bright lights in the city. I just get the feel of Monster Jam when I'm in Vegas. It was always my favorite place to go for a Monster Jam event, so it was super cool. And I did want to talk about this. In 2010, I remember watching Ryan Anderson and Dennis Anderson crash into each other when Ryan was in the gold, or not in the gold, in the red and yellow primer truck. But anyways, they did it here as well, and I remember watching that and thinking in 2012, oh, that was 2010 Monster Jam, they must do this every year. I remember taking my little toys and building little jumps out of books and wrecking them into each other, taking my two Gravediggers, wrecking them into each other. So it was super fun to see. And I always thought that was cool with the sparks coming out of the truck. I used to play with my little toys and do donuts, and I would have, I think it was like blankets and like little washcloths and stuff like going out of it. Super funny. I remember doing it all the time. Still play with the toys, even though I'm 16, but who cares? But as you can see here, the wreck. Just a really cool show. It goes down as one of my favorite shows that I went to, and I think it was just all around great. Monster Jam was always crazy to me, and I always liked it over the independent shows just because they seemed to tear up the trucks and just not give a care about the trucks, I guess. And so this show is when I started to like Monster Jam more over the other shows, like other independent shows. I mean, yeah, those were great, and I don't care. I'll go to an independent show. I still love monster trucks and all that, but I loved Monster Jam for how they would just tear up the trucks and didn't care, you know? And it was just great and fun to see. As you can see, Dennis wrecking with the wheel coming off. That's what I liked to see. I think this was the one where Dennis also flew the truck in the air. But here, 2015, Monster Jam was going kind of into the modern era, I would say, of Monster Jam as it is now. But it was a really great show. I loved Monster Jam my whole life, and I was really into Monster Jam. But this is really when I got into going to the shows. I was like, I want to go to a show. I want to go to more shows, you know? And I would go to, like, this show, and it was fun. This is also when they started to change the layouts from racing to freestyle, which I thought was cool. And I always thought of, like, cool things and all that. This is how I, like, thought of doing dirt tracks with my monster trucks. I remember doing little shows, like, with my trucks with, like, books and, like, going out in the dirt and playing with them on little hills that were already built. But I would think, and I'd be like, oh, I wish there was, like, real crush cars that the monster trucks could crush and all this stuff, and just cool. And this is when I started thinking about building my own tracks, because how am I going to build that track out of books, you know? I don't have enough books, and I can't shape the jumps right, and all that stuff, and so, yeah, that's how I really got into this stuff, and really fun to see. This is when Monster Jam really started becoming, like, a regular occurrence in my life. Regular, I say, we would go, like, every other year, basically. Was super fun, you know? I don't go to much shows anymore. I mean, I still go to shows, but I don't go to any more World Finals and whatnot, which I probably will. I just go to less monster truck shows as of late. But still fun just talking about it, just getting my feelings out about what I feel. So, I did see a video on Monster Jam Firestorm's YouTube about this, so I thought I might make a video on it and just try it. But next place I went to was Napa, Idaho. They had a Monster Jam show there. First arena Monster Jam show, I should say. I've been to an arena show, but this is my first arena Monster Jam show. Super duper cool. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever, even though it really wasn't. But I mean, it was a good show. Got to see monster trucks, but it wasn't the greatest thing ever, you know. Still fun, but this was in 2016. Just to let all y'all know, in 2016 was a pretty good show, you know. It was kind of exciting, just cool to see monster trucks, and of course I was excited because it was monster trucks. But I definitely am excited to go see. I might be going to a Napa show again. Will be super cool. I'm just looking to go and just go see all the drivers and meet them and go do another Monster Jam show. But yeah, this was the arena show for Monster Jam. Next up, we have 2017 World Finals. And this year, that was the year I only went to the freestyle. I did not make it to the racing. We were driving, and we just couldn't make it to the racing. We did not buy the tickets, though, for racing. But on our way to Vegas, we grabbed the tickets for the freestyle show. So, super cool. We got to see VP Racing Fuels do a front flip. Really cool. Funny thing, I had my cousin text my dad and say, look, and sent him a video of this truck doing a front flip. And it was like blowing up everywhere and whatnot. And my dad replied, yep, we're there right now. So it was super cool. 2017 was one of my favorites. 2019, I went to the All-Star Challenge right before everything shut down with COVID. But super cool show. I got to see the, All-Star Challenge, really cool. One of the more, I guess you could say modern, shows that I went to. Or one of the newer shows, I guess you could say. But super, super cool show. One of my top shows, one of my favorite shows. It might not be the most, but to me it was a great show. And if you guys want me to rank the shows, I can rank all the shows I've been to. Super duper fun. But the racing was great and just all around the best. And the reason I went to this show was because I knew it was going to be one of the last shows at Vegas. And it ended up being the last show at Vegas. So, yeah. Or at Sam Boyd Stadium, I should say. I don't know if they'll go to Allegiant. But one of the last shows at Allegiant, or at Sam Boyd Stadium, excuse me. And just a great show. It felt really sad leaving the stadium because I knew it was going to be one of the last times I would go to that stadium ever. I'm going to make this one short and sweet, but I got to go to a Monster Truck Insanity tour. Super cool. Filer, Idaho, a couple weekends ago. But yeah, super cool. Got to see it. Pretty good show for the arena size. But yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want to see me do more videos like this in the future, just let me know. Peace.